So let me just warm up. So let me just roll the TNT. We got tangents and trivia. It's TNT, baby.
So if I just ask you a question about what's your favourite music at the minute or something like that?
Yeah.
So what's your favourite music at the minute like that? No, wait, let me start again. What the fuck did I just say?
I don't know.
Boop. So Naeem.
Yes.
What music have you been listening to at the minute?
I've actually been listening to a lot of kind of like new wave hip hop.
What's that?
I can't remember his name.
Oh, give me some lists.
Bloody hell, man. It's escaped me. Basically, one of the people that I've been listening, or one of the groups I've been listening to is Earth Gang. Their album was sick.
I've never heard of them, I don't think.
They've done a few things with like J. Cole and stuff like that,
okay.
But on that specific album, it's kind of talking about like centuries ago, obviously, Africans being brought over to America, and then it's walking you through kind of like society's expectations of black people as a whole. And there's a song that's related to like ratchetness and stuff like this, and then kind of like the double standard of it.
So what is ratchetness?
Like ratchet, just being like wild, like fun loving, basically just turning up as a lady, ain't it? Like doing what you want and living how you want, and not really worrying about any consequences. Like, oh yeah, she gets about a bit or this and that. Yeah. It's just being like F all of that. Like I'm just doing me.
So I suppose some people might say it's an empowering thing. Some people might say that it's not.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant by double standards?
Yes, basically, and like being wanted to be called something or calling each other it, but then when you're called it by someone outside of that sphere, it's like, well, actually, no, that's like why are you calling me a bitch for?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was actually someone wanted to come in on that because I actually had a really good conversation with my client on that, but this is just a short snippet, isn't it?
No. Keep. That's not saying we can make a whole thing out of this.
Yeah. So he was asking me like he was asking me why I don't like female rappers. So I was like, I don't really like how they talk about like vagina and like crap like that.
Yeah, because from our perspective, it's not what we want to hear, is it? Whereas
taking people's money and whatever. And he was like, you know what it is though? I think a lot of people believe like women to be like their possessions in a way, or that they have to act in a certain way. And he goes, at the crux of it all, they're just owning what you expect of them. Is that like, and that's what that wasn't word for word, but that's kind of what I got from it.
I suppose he listens to music in a different way to me than maybe, whereas I'm quite listen to music in a more musical way rather than lyrical. So what I mean by that is it's all about the vibe for me.
Yeah.
So I know he's like saying words, and I can hear whether there's clever wordplay if I listen a few times, but mainly it's like, do I like, is this my jam kind of thing? So when I hear a female rapper that might have a really good beat, and I'm like, yeah, this is cool, but then I just kind of get this subtle thing where you go, when I get my pussy and I do like that, and then I kind of go, well, that's not really what I am thinking at the minute. And I kind of, when it is a rapper, he might be saying like words that I'm not going to say myself, but just the vibe of what he's saying is basically, I'm a gangster, I'm a legend. Or whatever. Yeah,
but they'd use, but they'd speak about women in the same. That's it. That's what he was trying to say. That was it. I remember he was saying like a lot of male rappers and stuff would speak about women in the same way that they talk about it, but it's like they flip the narrative. So they'd be like, you know, you little last hoe and all this, you know, that kind of. And they'd be like, yeah, I'm a hoe and
I'm a little ass hoe and
they'll switch it. So they'd be like, I'll be out here with my boys and these little assholes, and they'll switch it. They'll be like, me and my house go to do you know what I'm saying?
Who's this? I tell him Freddie right, tell him Freddie right. That was my Nicki Minaj impression.
Okay, oh yeah, when she does a little, when she does a little British thing. Wow, people love her, man.
Yeah, well, that's how back in the day I'm thinking now, because I bet there's a million other like pop stars that have come out that I should have said, but Nicki Minaj just sticks out to me as the ultimate female rapper. Yeah,
it's strange actually, because when you listen to some of the music, you always tend to hear that artists make alter egos. So I can't remember the name of that alter ego, but when she starts speaking in that proper like British accent, that's actually that's actually her alter ego, like her musical alter ego.
I didn't know that.
obviously Kendrick Lamar, like when he does
Nicki
his
Minaj
thing,
is deep.
when Kendrick Lamar does his thing, obviously he's got like multiple personalities.
Yeah, he does with a friend.
Yeah, and then he hears that one where he's like,
yeah,
that's supposed to be him drunk. So that's drunk Kendrick.
Obviously Eminem's got his really annoying one. Was like,
yeah,
and he,
well,
like,
Slim Shady is his thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know,
that was the classic thing, isn't it?
Marshall Mathers and Slim Shady.
Yeah.
So yeah, all these people tend to have that, and I think it's quite interesting. You might need one at one point. What would you?
I mean, I've got loads of aliases. My alter ego is my Russian alter ego.
Who's that?
Well, Eastern European alter ego. His last name's All Trades.
All Trades.
And his first name's Jakov.
I hate you. I hate you.
Jack of all trades.
I feel like we're back in year 7 again.
Yeah. And then also Chief Inspector Grobbelaar.
What? Like
Just putting references from stuff you've never seen.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what? I'm with the viewers on this, man. I'm with the listeners as well.
I'm all great.
I know that one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That one was not obscure, was it? So,
I'm still laughing at Jack Off, mate.
Jack Off all trades. No, yeah. When I used to rap at school, and we always used to come up with like everyone would come up with their like gangster name, but I can't ever take myself that like serious in that way.
Yeah.
So my one was always Jimmy Riddle, which is basically
piss, isn't it?
It's Cockney rhyme slang for having a piddle, a piss.
Yeah.
Going for a wee. So I always liked the thought I'd call myself Jimmy Riddle, because I knew if I ever did become a rapper, I'm probably going to be making jokes in it.
Fair
and
enough.
not taking myself seriously, do you know what I mean?
That's cool.
Like the way that I see, I think I've showed you some of the songs that I've wrote with lyrics, like singing stuff and rapping stuff and like funny stuff that I'll probably never release, but it's always got that twang to it. So the people that I like are people that write kind of, or the way that I write lyrics, it's a bit more obscure and comedic, even if I'm like rapping it. Do you know what I mean? It's always going to end up having that more arty-farty kind of Ian Dury in the Blockheads kind of inspired by the Cockney rhyming slang kind of thing, or weird colloquialisms that sound natural coming out of my mouth. So the worst thing is when you hear someone from Northampton, our accent isn't very attractive to
rap into,
if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I came from the market. Get my car, drive it, and park it.
So so people don't often know what the Northampton accent is.
Yeah,
and we draw our A and our R's out. I say we almost sound like pirates a little bit. I don't, but
it's a little bit West Country, because you've got a lot of like, it's kind of near places that have a bit of a Birmingham twang, like Daventry.
Okay.
You get a lot of people from Birmingham in that kind of area, and then it's that kind of. Yeah, it's West Country and Black Country kind of thing. Sorry, Black Country's so it's like the farmery thing.
Yeah, so we'll say, well, I say we, but I don't. But you'll hear, when people are saying stuff like far, garden.
Yeah. But then you also get a lot of people coming from London as well. So that, and then the God knows who else like living here. So it's such a mixture of things now. But the classic Northampton accent is. Oh, you're not market. Like,
right there, my love.
No, that's not as bad. It's not as bad as that. But like, Jardinier Besson. I'm trying to think of a funny name for him, because we're trying to come up with good names for people. But anyway, his dad's got a very funny Northampton accent. Not funny, but like,
Jakov.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah. Of course so.
He's got like a very funny Northampton accent, kind of like you can hear it. You can hear the Northampton thing, and he always goes Sammy Bones, like the way he says everything.
Wait, do that again.
Sammy Bones.
Mate, that's right. Yeah. That's
he used to sing my name. Like there was like several different songs that I'd walk into the house and he'd always have a different song to sing my name to.
Wait, he should have done your bloody voicemail, man.
He should have done the theme tune to this. You mean?
Yeah, he should have done that as well, man.
You've smashed it. You smashed that. Anyway, you say you've been listening to this, talking to the music, you've been listening to this new wave
Earth Gang. There was another guy, it was something Boogie or something like that, but...
Boogie?
Yeah, I haven't really had a lot of time to listen to a lot of music, to be honest with you. I mean, I've just been like busy with other things in life, but there's a beauty in finding new music, and I don't know how you go about it, but I know for me, like, Spotify comes in clutch. Like, whether it's Discover Weekly... Clutch, mate. Yeah, seriously. It's not
the same for me.
Really?
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to know how you find new music.
So, because I got into music at a little bit of weird way. So I grew up listening to mainly rock music.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you know that. We all know that.
Sam!
So I had that stage in my life, and obviously play the guitar and wanted to be in rock bands and stuff, and that didn't ever happen for me. Dad would then play a bit of reggae and hip hop in the background, so eventually I kind of got into those things. So this is all music that's got a bit of balls to it. That's the way I've always described it. I liked music that was a bit more like, it's a bit, cool. It's got a cool sound. It's not like, now the stuff that I'm into, like funk and soul and stuff, it's gone that line of being a little bit kind of cringy at times, and you know what I mean, it's a little bit more like a bit more chilled, but I mean, like,
sounds like CeeLo Green.
Yeah, I think that probably would. So yeah, like later on I got into different types of music, so dance music especially, I would have never listened to that, and then now I sit there and make it all the time, mainly because I learned how to appreciate it through people like James Eberall and stuff, sharing. Like, I'd give him a Jimi Hendrix CD, and he'd give me a music CD with a load of like dance stuff on it, like a mix CD or something like that. So I kind of got into, or Merlin would show me really early dubstep. So like, I wouldn't have got into this music if it wasn't for things like, you know, random other people that would listen to dance music, or the internet, where Harvey would send me these links on YouTube.
I don't know who that is. I only know Merlin. Man.
Yeah, Merlin would send me the links on YouTube. I'm gonna edit the name over the top.
What about Jebril? Are you changing Jebril's name?
We call him Gillette Flames.
Gillette Flames.
Yeah. So basically, these people share music with me, and YouTube ended up being the way that I would consume a lot of the dance music that I've gotten into, which, as I said, I think I've mainly gotten into because you kind of learn how to appreciate it through going, oh, they've sampled that. Like, I like hip hop, but hip hop was, a lot of the stuff that I really liked was a sample of an old 70s track that they basically got the song, the main part of the song, looped it and put some beefy drums on it or something. Yeah. And maybe added a couple of extra little things here and there. That's how a lot of my favourite hip hop songs, that 90s style hip hop production, was done. It's like looping old 70s songs, and then because of that, I got into my funk and stuff like that, and then I learned a little bit about like music that you can dance to, and eventually I've gotten into through kind of like enjoying dubstep that Harvey had showed me, and enjoying kind of like more dancey stuff that James had showed me. Ended up making jungle tunes because I can sit there in my room and do it on my own, and I don't need to rely on somebody else to learn the song on drums, somebody else to help me write the songs, or to actually turn up and learn the songs and play it, and you know, meeting the right people that you kind of click with musically. You can just do it on your own.
It's quite interesting that you mentioned that, because it's one of the things that I never was really into that much, was kind of like rock or anything like that. And I think the more time I've spent with kind of Merlin's brother, I'm trying to think of a name for him.
Gandalf.
Yeah, let's call him Gandalf there. The more time I spent with Gandalf, it's like I started to get an appreciation of like, oh, the drums are actually pretty sick in like metal and rock stuff. It's pretty cool. It's not something I could sit there and consume and listen to and be like, yeah, this is actually incredible. But if it's going on around me, I'm not just going to be there. Like, I normally would have just sat there and thought, my whole life is ending around me. What's going on here? Like, now I can actually just vibe a little bit.
If you learn the way that I was saying, I've kind of learned how to appreciate stuff through kind of coming into it at a different angle, not just going, oh, this is a popular song, I'm going to listen to fucking Avenged Sevenfold or something like.
They made a really weird song about killing a lady, and then
I didn't even know anything about that group, but I don't know why that just came to my head, because that was like what emos would listen to when we were at school or whatever. But what I'm saying is, like,
they're quite musical.
You're not going to get into it by listening to that, but if I was to actually show you, I think, the first couple of Black Sabbath records, do you get what I'm saying? This is the first, like, 1970, 1971,
when it's raw,
where it's literally coming off the back. I mean, Jimi Hendrix. You know, you probably like a few Jimi Hendrix tunes. Everybody knows like Purple Haze and stuff, don't
know Jimi
you? Never listen.
Who's Jimi Hendrix?
You know who he is,
of course,
you know, like Purple Haze.
Traffic. Come on, man.
Okay. So
Crosstown Traffic.
That era is where you had like quite a lot going on musically in the studio. Like, got like the Beatles really experimenting with recording techniques in the studio. So like music production used to be microphones in a room, everyone go, and it gets recorded on some tape. The Beatles were the kind of people that were experimenting with like chopping the tapes up, rewinding stuff to make interesting sounds, and like re-recording the tape that you're rewinding back into like and doing weird. That's why the Beatles were so amazing,
like pioneering and they're game changing.
Them and that's why they call their engineer, I can't remember his name, but they call him the fifth Beatle.
Okay.
Or the guy that was helping produce their albums at the time, because he contributed so much to music.
So their sound was so different to everything that a lot of
essentially all their
before.
stuff is basically them copying styles of music from other places and stuff like. So you had all these popular sounds, but they're bringing it all together in a way that was what we know today as like poppy. I get, well, not today's poppy, but you get that Western song formula where it's like you get verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus.
Yeah.
And then the song's over. They were kind of like helping bring, they've got a couple of albums with all the Asian sounds in it, because they've gone over and sat there with a shaman and learned how to play the sitar and stuff like that. So they're bringing all these different sounds and song styles. So blues, swing, jazz, all these things, and then making a really good album.
It's the cohesiveness, isn't it? The more ingredients you bring to a plate, when it's prepared correctly, the richer the meal's going to be. Yeah. That's sick. I didn't know that.
That's to me. Anyway, that's like, because their songs are good, but it's not like I listen to them all the time and I'm like, this is my favourites. Yeah. Although they were one of my favorite. When I was younger, I remember liking like Eleanor Rigby. Eleanor Rigby.
I'm lost. Actually, yeah, I do.
What is it for?
It's that you sold
me. Yeah, I remember liking that when I was a kid, and I got the Greatest Hits album on CD and stuff. But I can't even remember where I was going with this. We'll talk about getting into music, won't we? And I think what you need to do is listen to that era. So Jimi Hendrix came out after the Beatles kind of had their main time, I guess. And he's like, adding that psychedelicness and rockiness in with like blues, if you get what I'm saying. It's kind of like, and then you got bands in the UK like Black Sabbath. And I say it's Black Sabbath kind of that was still on the edge of being kind of bluesy, and it just sounds really good to me still to this day. Whereas a lot of the stuff that came after that, like I can't listen to Metallica records. I never really could, but it's just like 80s crap where it went too far away from the bluesiness and having soul to it, and it's just let it be, right and roll, let it and I'm not. That's not my vibe. Do you know what I mean? But I think if you listen to the first couple of Black Sabbath albums, as much as like Ozzy Osbourne, like I always knew when I grew up he was just that idiot off the telly or whatever. That my mum would be like, turn on,
but like he ate a flipping bat on stage.
You hear about that because he's fucked and someone threw a bat, or a bat hit him on stage, so he thought they threw it and bit it because he didn't realise it was real, and he nearly died of tetanus or whatever.
I'm done, man.
But yeah, I think you like the first couple of albums. Like his voice isn't that bad. Like I think they're good, and they've got this bluesiness to it. And it's not like how it ended up being 80s, 90s, where rock music's
Sharon.
Yeah. So you've been listening to a bit of, what did you call it? Neo hip hop.
No, just like new wave.
Hip-hop. So what's that, like 90s boom bap with, but more modern lyrics and stuff like that?
I just mean it just like new wave, as in just like new stuff.
So not, but like this kind of
nothing to do with like genre.
It's not like it's not drilly or anything like that. It's still more on that boom bappy kind of vibe.
I guess it'd be more like neo soul, almost like neo soulish. Yeah, really like chilled. Obviously, there's times where it like switches up, and that's something that I find really cool. I really, really appreciate artists that can switch their like you'll probably know like a way more musically articulate way of describing or saying it, but one thing that always kind of stuck out to me was Merlin's dad was talking to their youngest brother, who we'll call Silky because that's actually his artist name. That actually is.
Where does he rap now?
Yeah. Like, I'm Silky. Like, he has this whole London thing going. But do you know what? It ain't too bad. I'm not knocking it.
Does he swear on his laugh?
A little bit.
With a fork and a knife.
Anyway,
I'm gonna make him a wife.
He's got some serious balls, man. Like I've seen him get up on stage in Birmingham and just do his thing, which was mad. It's crazy.
You get to among him in the studio,
it's crazy. Nah, yeah, you might as well. But he was saying about how like often beats are like 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's like, when you start to understand how you can change how you say things to fit those beats differently, and you could start tweaking it as you're going through the song. So it doesn't always have to be it can be like do you know what I mean? Like changing how you say things. He's like, people just look at you like, where on earth, what planet is this guy from? This is incredible. And I think someone who does that really well for me, I don't know if that is actually true, but if you've heard like Denzel Curry's flow on a lot of his songs,
Denzel Curry, and then from the UK maybe Gets or something,
incredible. It's just you listen to it and it's just that it's how dynamic the song is. Do you know what I mean? It just has a whole different element.
To the point, I think some people might hear them for the first time and go like, "Whoa!" Because sometimes it's so different to what you're used to hearing, which is someone doing the same old flow, the same old lyrics. But those guys, I will have to listen to their song twice before I actually hear what they've said, because it's just like, fucking hell.
Yeah, it's like they're making a song within a song. So you've got the melody, but then it's almost like they create a secondary melody through the changes of their voice. It's weird. It's crazy.
I think what it comes down to is just people having some artistry, whereas it's so hard to come by people that really, really, really care about what they're doing, because it's just become that thing. It's just like, I'm going to be viral now. I just keep on making random crappy music and try and become viral.
And artistry is often really overlooked within things like music as well, because when you actually sit down and you realise just how incredible some of the best rappers or artists have been. I was watching a Vox video, and it was talking about the genius of some rappers, and one of them, it was talking about MF Doom, and how when you start to look at his rap schemes, on his first line, the first word would rhyme with the second word on the second line, and it would go on, so on and so forth. And then it was talking about how Biggie would put words as like homonyms or stuff, so two words that sounded very similar right next to each other, so the flow sounded differently, and then his rap scheme would be all over the place. Like, he'd have things rhyming and this and that and that. And when you start to really look at the artistry of words, you think, wow, like, that is a wordsmith.
There's a way to do stuff where it's actually, like, really, you can really think about it and make something really creative out of words. Whereas it's quite easy for you to just not do that.
Yeah, to just rhyme, just because they use the...
I swear my leg.
They used the example of like one of the first recorded rap things on Top of the Pops. It was like, wheels on the bus and the wheels go round and the wheels go up and the wheels go down. And
that's what it was at the time though, but because it was just people kind of freestyling in the middle of a club or something like that, in somewhere in Harlem or whatever, where it came from. So
that's my favourite song actually. Wheels go up and wheels go down.
What must go up must come down.
So it was just that, and then obviously from
there, my left must go. Watch my neff go up in your left. Sorry,
that's all right, mate. It's all right. We forgive you. But yeah, that's
you listen to music a bit differently than me. Is what I'm getting from this is you listen to music from a bit more of a lyrical.
I think I'm a 50-50 boy. Okay. I think I'm a 50-50 boy. I think because you're so like well versed in the melodic side of things and the engineering and how you put things together, you really hear it for what it is. Yeah. Whereas I think because I've spent time with you and Merlin and other people of that kind of musical influence, I can maybe hear like 50 to 60% of that. Yeah. Whereas, of course, because I do a lot of writing, my big thing is communication, in terms of I have to talk to people, so I have to find out how to present messages better to them. If I want to market myself, I have to figure out what kind of words work with people better. Yeah. You know, apparently still our reading age doesn't really get, like our average reading age in the UK or something, or is it in the US, is about 13 years old. So if people, in terms of marketing, if they can't understand a word, we just switch off.
Yeah, exactly.
If you read something,
that's what I do as a day job, isn't it? It's like, and some people get a little bit stuck up when I go, can you not just change that word to this, because it just makes it easier to understand. But one word can literally
communication is huge, and that's what I think, because of my focus on words and language, that's why I'm 50% lyrics as well, or like 50%, 60%, 40% lyrics, because I love them. I love how they're laid out. I love how the intention behind them. So that's me.
I do, as I said, I do, but most of the time I'm not hearing music like that. I'm hearing the beat and I like the beat, but it's very rare that I'm gonna hear the beat, like the beat, and then I go, right, let me listen to what they're saying now, and then I go, oh shit, no, they're saying something. A lot of the time I'm either just like switching off because I don't even like the sound of their voice, so I know they're not saying anything of substance, but I can still listen to the beat or something like that.
Yeah, I get you.
And as long as they're not saying something that's a bit like offensive to my ears,
you can.
Well, yeah, or offensive anyway. Like, then I'll probably listen to it.
Yeah, that's a cool thing as well, because I remember getting like my first pair of good headphones, and I remember listening to, I think it was like an old garage track. And there was I didn't even really like the track, to be honest with you, but there was one little noise and it was like and because like when you normally listen to it you can't hear it in earphones. I think I just got gassed. I used to listen to the whole track just to hear that little noise. And I could hear it.
That's weird.
I heard it. It's weird, but I was young, but it's weird. It's like the better your gear is, or better the equipment that you have, it's almost like it unlocks like a new part to a song.
Yeah.
It's 100%. Really strange.
Well, they remaster stuff all the time, don't they? So, like, you can even get Dolby Digital things where it's like, so you can listen to it on a surround sound, like, cinema system, and they've mixed the song so it sounds mad.
Oh, mad.
So it sounds like you're in the room with the band and stuff. But I mean, I like to just listen to stuff through a mono speaker just because that's. I can't be asked to put headphones on or shit anymore.
That's fair,
I don't
man.
want to fucking fuck my ears up anymore. But
yeah, rest in peace, ears, man.
Yeah. What?
We got tangents and trivia. We got tangents. Naeem and Sammy be on TNT.